Yeah.
Right. And keep in mind, Putin and Russia, communists.
Right.
Their citizens don't get to carry guns. China, communists. Their citizens don't get to carry guns.
Nope.
Your government can do whatever they like if they have no fear of their citizenship. Hello, welcome to Texas Top Chicks. We're glad you're here. And if you're here on your first time, welcome. And if you're coming back for your poison, we're so glad you're here. And we're going to talk about the Putin interview that Tucker Carlson did. And I'll let you start off with that. And what was your take on that?
Well, first of all, the first 30 minutes were covering history of Russia, which I kind of found interesting, but it was also kind of like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, what's the point? What's the point?
Okay, like he was schooling us, like he was trying to school America.
Kind of. Well, it's like, Tucker, you don't know my history. And I get it. I mean, there's a lot of people around the world don't know America's history. And obviously people in America.
I didn't know it.
A lot of people in America don't know America's history.
Well, I mean, I didn't know the Russian thing,
No, but what he was doing, he was trying to set it up to say, because Tucker flat asked him, why now? Why invade now instead of then?
Right.
And he did get into how, that apparently there was all of this backstory deals with, promises not kept, and other countries, like Boris Johnson coming in and telling them what to do.
And one of their own leaders, and I don't remember what he was, basically made a bad deal. And
Right. And how he, had working relationship with both the Bushes and with Trump. He didn't mention Obama, though.
I noticed that. I noticed that. I turned to my husband. I said, no mention of Obama in that.
No. So, but to me, again, it's one of those things where Tucker said, well, what about an end to this, basically? And he says, yeah, but it's kind of like, but it needs to be Ukraine coming to me.
Right.
Or America coming to me. And I'm going,
right.
I get that because in America, what are we doing? What are we doing sending all this money over there? It sickens me.
It's so stupid. Even the people who support it are saying, well, eventually, Ukraine's not going to win this. It's like, okay, then why are we spending our children's and our grandchildren's money on this?
Well,
okay, I got to say, my biggest takeaway, which is so sad, and I'm so sorry to even say this, my biggest takeaway was, wow, Putin, he's really got a good brain. He can talk for more than 5 minutes before he says, look.
Yeah, right.
Our president who can't seem to talk more than 5 minutes. He literally talked nonstop for 30 minutes.
Yes, he did.
And he sounded like he knew what he was talking about. You know how Tucker kept kind of pressing him on, why did you wait until now? Why did you wait 22 years? Blah, blah, blah. One reason why he waited until now is because we have a weak president.
Right.
He waited and we haven't had a weak president since he's been in until we had this one. Not only that, let's be honest, Ukraine, their leader is a comedian. Okay. He's not a strong leader. No. We don't know what's in his personal checking account or his savings account right now.
There's a bunch of zeros in that account. I guarantee you there's a bunch of zeros.
So I think that it's pretty obvious why he waited until now, because we are weak as a country and we have a weak leader. Right.
All this stuff. But he talked about that group of soldiers that surrounded some Ukrainian soldiers.
Right.
And basically said, surrender and you'll live. And the Ukrainian soldiers replied, Russians never give up, never surrender. And I went, see, they're Russians too.
Yeah, in their hearts.
So that was just tragic to me. It was tragic. It's they're killing fellow Russians.
Another thing that's tragic for America is how much Putin talked about being friends with China.
Oh,
respecting China.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do a little math on that. Okay, China alone.
Yes.
1.8 billion people. America, over 300 million. If you do the math on that, just a quick math, just a guesstimate, that is 6 Chinese citizens to 1 American citizen. we need to pay attention to that. That means that they could send over people across our border like they're doing right now.
Yeah, the latest estimate I heard was there's 100,000
Me
of them
too.
now.
Yeah, and that's of who they know, right?
100,000.
That's who they know.
And they're not women and children. They're not family groups.
Right. And
these are all fighting age trained men.
Yep, exactly. So it's kind of scary. This enemy of my enemy is my friend with Russia and China. Now, Russia, I can't believe that they're that dumb.
No,
China isn't their friend. No. I mean, they might combine with us, with Russia and China might combine to come against America. But this is the reality. China would use Russia.
They will.
They would just go against them. So
they are
not a smart move. Not a smart move at all.
They'll use each other. And I actually heard something on the radio today or yesterday. I can't remember. Really interesting. They were talking about how this globalist thing. You know, everybody. We've got globalists in America, and you've got globalists in Europe, and globalists all over the place. That it's like one world order kind of crap.
Yes.
But they were saying. And this is what people, it's like, even if you're on board with the one world order thing, Europe's one world order is not going to be Russia's one world order or China's or America's. Right. So it's like there can never, ever, ever, ever be this giant unity around the world.
And so when they're talking about one world order, they mean one world government. That's what they mean. When they're global this and global that, they just mean a global government that regulates everything. So you roll up your sleeve and you take the shot, even if you don't want to, because you know what? The global government tells you have to do it.
Right.
You go into this profession, you go to this college because the global government tells you to do it. Right. So America is all about freedom. Just because I don't think we should be funding the Ukraine war, it doesn't mean I'm pro-Russian. No. It doesn't mean I'm pro-communist.
It doesn't believe. And watching
I'm pro-American.
Right.
So let's stop wasting our money on this baloney. And I mean, there is who's checking to see where this money is going to Ukraine?
There's been no counts.
It's just an unending check that we just keep sending. Like, I don't understand.
Yep.
And another thing that was really telling to me, he kind of did this weird, like orthodox weirdness, like I'm a Christian and you're a Christian.
Oh, yeah.
But boy, when Tucker asked him about his faith towards the end, he choked. He choked big time. All he did is go back like hundreds of years to something. I totally didn't even know what he was talking about. So, I mean, that was the other thing. It was really scary when he laughed, the scary laugh he did about AI. At the very end, he did this really weird, scary laugh when he was asked about AI. And it's like, well, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to
what does that mean?
See if I took some notes on that one.
Yeah, it was just so weird because, I mean, I was like, okay, whoa, if someone asked me about AI, I'd be like, yeah, we need to be very cautious about that. That could be a big problem. You don't do like this evil, like I'm a villain laugh,
right?
About it. That just seems so weird. He's very good. People have to remember he was part of their intelligence. So he learned how to get
he's KGB.
Or trust in what he says. So I kind of got sucked into that at first. And then I was like, oh no, he's a monster. He's a monster. He's a communist monster.
Right. And it was really interesting.
He's a tyrant.
He was talking about the denazification. Denazification. I'm going.
Oh, brother, come on. Are you kidding? Like communists are better, right?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't love Jews.
No.
He doesn't care about Nazis. I mean, he just doesn't like them because they come against what he's trying to do as a tyrant. It's like, it's ridiculous. Right. It's a ridiculous argument. So, I mean, he looked good. He looked good for his,
he
age.
Looked healthy. Yeah.
He looked healthy. We've heard a lot of rumors about him having like a stroke or whatever. He did have a little sag in his, I was trying to figure it out if it was his right or his left, because it's very hard with the camera because they couldn't flip it. So they might have flipped it so it was on his right instead of his left, but he had a little sag in his mouth. And I tried to look at old pictures to see if that's just because sometimes that's a genetic. Yeah. That's what we have.
Right.
I didn't see it in old pictures, but it's hard to tell if he had a stroke or not. Stroke doesn't really mean anything though. I mean, it just, if he recovered from it, he's fine. I mean,
right.
He's just more susceptible to another one. I think mentally, he seemed like he was all there.
Absolutely.
He seemed like he was all there. He could hold a conversation for an hour and a half solid. And I mean, I struggled to
2 hours.
I did because He was
hours.
lecturing, and it was just difficult. He didn't really answer Tucker's questions. I really don't hold anything against Tucker, though, because this is a Russian president, or whatever he is. Is he president? What is he?
Yeah. But see, I actually give kudos to Trump. I mean, to Tucker for going over there and getting it, because again, it's kind of like there's always two sides to the story. There's actually, in this case, multiple sides to the story. I don't think that Tucker likes Putin particularly, or he's obviously not a Putin puppet or anything. Right. He's got the guts to go over there and try to get a story and try to ask questions.
He has the guts to do it. He has the guts to try to ask the questions. And if it was me, I would have let him just go, because you know what? Right. How many people are going to sit in front of Putin? Barbara Walters did this all the time. So the ridiculous media trying to diss Tucker about this baloney. Oh, baloney. You're just jealous. You're jealous because you didn't get the interview. Because I can guarantee you, if they got the interview, they would air it.
Oh, sure they would.
So, good job, Tucker. Yeah, that must have been really difficult, because Putin's going to say what he wants to say.
Sure.
Sure. He's not our friend. And Texas, don't be drugged. Don't be fooled. He's not our friend.
No.
They would have ulterior motives for supporting us, for seceding. They would. Sure. So we don't want to get involved in that. And I'm telling you, this China alliance they have with Russia, that's another motivation for us to keep our guns.
Absolutely.
The only reason America isn't highly populated, really, compared to like Indonesia and India and China, and even Russia, I think has more. Right. The only thing that keeps us really from being invaded from that standpoint is that we have a good military still.
Right.
That's not great. But the big thing, I think we have 600 million guns out there, privately owned.
Right. And even
you can't take over people that are armed. You can't. It's very hard.
And you can't. Yeah. And people there's still a lot of sheriffs and people like that are out here among the people that would fight, even if the U.S. military is compromised or full of wokeness or whatever it is. There's still a lot of the people that are military that believe in this country, love this country, and would not, would fight. So.
Right. And the Texas tough people, they are the excellent example. I tell you, I don't feel safer anywhere else than Texas, because you know why? Everyone knows that everyone else is armed.
Yeah.
Right. And keep in mind, Putin and Russia, communists.
Right.
Their citizens don't get to carry guns. China, communists. Their citizens don't get to carry guns. Nope. Your government can do whatever they like if they have no fear of their citizenship.
So speaking about strong leaders versus weak leaders, I am so mad I could spit today. I said I feel like I'm probably going to fling a few cuss words today because of the whole thing. I won't.
I have to bleep that.
I know. But the Biden, the local newspaper, says Biden willfully mishandled classified info. The first paragraph, a special counsel report released Thursday found evidence that President Joe Biden willingly retained and shared highly classified information when he was a private citizen, including documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan, but concluded that criminal charges were not warranted. The report was from special counsel Robert Hur. He resolves basically he said that, he had the stuff, but he's just kind of an old guy who didn't mean any harm. So it's just like the thing with Hillary Clinton.
Oh my gosh.
When it's like,
they throw everything at Trump. They go to raid his residence, raid his businesses, raid his offices, like he's already a criminal. And this guy just gets off with everything. It's just
he
amazing.
had it.
But thank God in that report, they said he was an old man that had a bad memory. And that might really harm him during the election. That alone, because they're freaking out over that. They're completely freaking out that was in the report. And I'm sure that guy's gone. I'm sure whoever wrote that is gone.
Oh, probably. Joe Biden, when he did all this stuff, was number one, he was a senator, and number two, he was vice president. So he shouldn't even have this stuff. So that's where I get so mad. It's like, what about that part of it?
Oh, it doesn't
He didn't
matter.
have the right to have those documents.
I'm telling you, this side wants to destroy our country. It's like,
yeah,
it's like they're so hell-bent on destroying the country. They don't care. They're going to let him get away with everything. So obviously, when we're listening to a communist leader, we need to have some brains and do our own research on that. When we're supporting Ukraine, we need to know what we're supporting. I mean, and we need to stay Texas tough if you are. And if you're not, get Texas tough, because it's time. So we'll see you next time.
Take care.
And yeah, just give us wisdom and discernment, and bless this channel in Jesus' name. Amen.